Hello students, we were studying trigonometry and more specifically measurement of angles, in which we studied different systems of measuring angles, after which we studied the relationship between a few systems, after which we did a few questions, and in this lecture also we will be covering a lot of questions which will give you clarity on the chapter. Before continuing, I need to tell you something. So, Padmabodh Academy is organizing its scholarship program for the year 2025. Basically, in this program, 100 students are going to get 50% to 90% fee waiver. Mind you, this is only for the first 100 students who apply, and the applications are open till 5th of July 2025. And I would recommend you not to wait till 5th of July since it is only for a limited number of students. So you can join our channel, you can subscribe to our channel for the updates, you can ask your comments in the comment section, and as you might know, if you don't then let me tell you, probably you are in 11th standard right now if you are watching this video, but if you have your younger siblings or your juniors, you can recommend our channel to them, because we are also uploading right now the chapters of mathematics of 8th standards, so it will be very helpful. So do recommend it to your juniors or your siblings. Now let us continue with the question. Also, I would like to add one more point. If there is any particular question that you are unable to solve, let's say that there comes a question in the further video which you did not understand, then I would recommend to replay the solution all over again and try to solve it by yourself 2-3 times. It is a really good practice to solve the question again and again if you did not get it, and I'm sure you will get it. Right now the questions that we are solving, they are not that difficult, but you might find a few difficult questions in the upcoming questions. So let us begin. So the question that we are dealing with right now is, find in degrees the angle through which a pendulum swings if its length is 50 centimeter and the tip describes an arc of length 10 centimeters. I hope you can visualize what the question is trying to say. So basically there is a pendulum. You know, a pendulum looks like this. It swings like this, right? So the length of the pendulum is given as 50 centimeters and the arc that it describes is 10 centimeters. Now, what do I understand by this? Does it not seem like the arc of a circle and the 50 centimeter is the radius, right? If this is the circle, then the pendulum will move like this, and if this is the length of the pendulum, this is 50 centimeter, then this is probably the radius, and if this is the arc that it is subtending, and if this is the length of the arc, then don't we know the relationship between the two? We had studied that this angle subtended is S by R radians. If you had watched the previous videos, then you must know this, right? So very simple, we will just put the given values into the formula. So the question is to find it in degrees. Mind you, very important, this formula is valid for radian measure, and the question is asking us to find the degree measure of the angle formed. So first what I'm going to do is convert this radian to degree, right? Now we also know how to do that, right? We will just multiply it with 180 by pi, and now my radian is converted to degree. So let us now just simply put in the values. S, which is the arc length, R, which is the radius, 180 by pi. Simply just cancel this. 36 by pi, right? Now if you have watched my previous video, then you know that in radians we leave the answer in pi, but in degrees we do not leave it in pi. We convert it to degree, minute and second. So let us do that. So the angle had come out to be 36 by pi. We replace the pi with 22 by 7. Now let me just cancel it and simplify it. Now if you have watched my previous video, you know how we convert this. First what we do is we write the fraction in mixed fraction in a b by c form, and then we take the a as degree, multiply the b by c portion with 60 and get it as minutes, and then we do the same procedure to calculate the seconds portion, right? So we are going to use the same method. I'm showing it to you step by step so that it can be clear for you. I'm converting it to mixed fraction. First I will do my normal division as I do it. So 11 ones are 11, 1, 6, 1s are 11, 5. Now I can convert this to mixed fraction. So the denominator remains the same, multiplying it with 11 and adding 5 to it. So 5. Now it is converted to mixed fraction. So the number that I get over here is my degree measure, degree, and the fraction that I obtain over here, I multiply it with 60 to get it in minutes, right? So 11 degree, 300 by 11 minutes. Now again I'm going to convert minutes to second. So for that I'm going to convert this fraction to mixed fraction again by using the same method. 2s are 22, 8, 7s are 77 and 3, which means that I can write this as, I hope you are catching up, 11 degrees, 27 over here, multiplying it with 27 and then adding 3 to it. So now I have my 27 minutes. Now I just have to take this portion, multiply it with 60 and I will get my seconds portion. You must be a master at this by now. We have done this so many times. Now I'm solving this portion. 1s are 11, 7, 0, 6 times 66, 4, 11 degrees, 27 minutes and 16 seconds, right? So this is my answer. Coming to the next question. In a circle of diameter 40 centimeter, the length of a chord is 20 centimeter. Find the length of minor arc corresponding to the chord. Now, before beginning with the question, let us get familiar with the terms being used. Right? So, if this is a circle, this length is the diameter. Right? Obviously, you know it. And in this circle, still, let's just revise. This is a chord, and if I'm talking about this segment, then it is a minor arc. You must be knowing it, but still some students have confusion. So this is diameter, this is chord, and this is the minor arc. Let's see how to solve. So it is given that the diameter is 40 centimeter, which implies that the radius is 20 centimeter. right? So let me just draw a circle. Now I'm just going to draw this chord. It is of 20 centimeter. Now what can I do? I have to find this length, right? And I know the radius. So we have learned that theta is S by R radians. So I have to find the length of the minor arc, this, and corresponding to this chord. So what are the things that I know? This is what I know. I know the radius. This is what I have to find. Now how can I get theta? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these 2 points together, right? This with this and this with this. Why did I do that? Because I know that this is the radius of the circle. This is 20. This is also the radius of the circle, so this is also 20. What does that imply? All the sides of the triangle are equal, which means that the angle subtended on this side is 60 degree. On every side it is 60 degree. So what did that just give me? This theta. Now I can easily find the arc length, right? So I'm going to put the theta. So in degrees it is 60 degree, but in radians it is pi by 3, right? Now S is what I have to find, and the radius is 20. So I can just write S as, this get cancelled, 15 pi, right? I'm sorry, what did I just do? So pi by 3 is equals to S upon 20, which implies that S is equals to 20 pi by 3. So sorry for that mistake. I have no idea why I did that. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let us move on to the next question. The angles of a triangle are in AP. The number of degrees in the least is to the number of degrees of radians in the greatest is 60 is to pi. Find the angles in degrees. Now in the first go this might seem a bit confusing. Let us break it down step by step. So we are talking about a triangle. It has 3 angles and they are in AP. They are in arithmetic progression. So you might know this, and if you don't then please know it, that every time that we consider or assume 3 terms in an AP, we consider them to be A minus D, A and A plus D, right? Arithmetic progression. So these are the angles that we are going to consider, because every time you're adding D to it. So the number of degrees in the least, which means that since these are in an AP, it means that the 3 are different from each other. It means that A minus D is less than A is less than A plus D, right? Clearly. So the least, this one is the least degrees. Look, the number of degrees in the least. So for the least angle we are talking about degrees measure is to the number of radians in the greatest. So for the greatest we are talking about radians measure. This is important part of the question. So the ratio of the least angle measured in degrees to the measure of the greatest angle in radian measure is 60 by pi. Now find the angle in degrees. So let us just put the given data into expression. So A minus D in degree to A plus D in radian is 60 by pi, right? This is what the expression will be. One more thing to note here is that A minus D plus A plus A plus D. What is this? These are basically the three terms that we have assumed. So these are the three angles of a triangle, which means that their sum should be equal to 180, right? So on solving this, we get 3A is equals to 180 degree, which means that A is equals to 60 degree. So now we know the value of A, right? Now in this expression, we know that this is 60 degree. We are calculating angles, right? So we know that this is 60 degree and this is A, value of A is also 60 degree. So this term is in 60 degree. Now we have to convert this term to radians because we want it to be in radians. So what we are going to do, let me just clean the space a bit. A minus D is going to remain the same. Now this we want in radians. So how to convert to radians? Just multiply it with pi by 180. Right? Now pi is going to get cancelled. This is going to get cancelled by 3, which means that on cross multiplying we will get 3 minus A minus 3D is equals to A plus D, which implies that 2A is equals to 4D, which implies that A is equals to 2D. Now we know that A is 60, which implies that 60 is equals to 2D and D is equals to 30. Now what was initially the question? The question was to find the angles in degrees. So these are our angles, A minus D, A and A plus D. Now we know the value of both the variables, A minus D, A and A plus D. The value of A is 60, so 60 minus 30, 60 and 60 plus 30, which will be 30, 60 and 90 degree. So these are the three angles of the triangle which were in arithmetic progression. That's it. So the next question is, a circular wire of radius 3 cm is cut and bent so as to lie along the circumference of a hoop whose radius is 48 cm. Find in degrees the angle which is subtended at the center of the hoop. Now look, what is being said in the question is that a circular wire, I have a circular wire whose radius is 3 cm is cut and bent. I cut this and then I opened it, so it looks something like this, and it is being laid along the circumference of a hoop. So here I have a hoop whose radius is 48 cm and it is being laid down on it so that it covers its circumference, which means that I place this on top of this, so it is kept like this. This was originally a circular loop itself whose radius was 3 cm, and now I have cut it, opened it, in such a manner that it perfectly lies over the circumference of this circle whose radius is 48 centimeters. Right? Now I have to find in degrees the angle which is subtended at the center of the hoop, which means that I have to find out this theta. So basically, I'm sure by now you understand that we are going to use theta is equals to S by R. This is the formula that we are going to be using. So what are my requirements? Do I have R? Yes, I do have R. Theta is what I have to find. And do I have this length? This is what I have to find, the arc length. So how can I know that? So here it is given that this was originally a circle whose radius was 3. Now the formula for radius is the formula for circumference is 2 pi r, right? And the circumference is the arc length that I am talking about. This whole length is the circumference, and if I open it, that is the very arc length that I require here. So the circumference is 2 pi r and the value of r is 3, which implies that the length of this is 2 pi 3, which means 6 pi, right? So I can just put it in this formula now, that theta is 6 pi upon r, which is 48, right? This answer is in radians because this formula gives us the answer in radians. But in the question it is given find in degrees. Please be very careful of the unit. So to convert this radians to degree, what do? We multiply it with 180 by pi. So I can simply cancel pi with pi, and then I can cancel this by 8, and then I can cancel this. So the angle is 45 by 2 degrees. And have we not done this question before? We came across 45 by 2 degrees and then we converted it. We extended it further to minutes and seconds. So we are going to do the same here. Just divide 45 by 2. 2s are 4. 2s are 4. 1. So I can write this as 2, 22 and 1. So this is 22 degrees and 30 minutes. 22 degrees and I can cancel this. So this is 30 minutes. That is our answer.